what do you do when you hire somebody that's got a good track record, but it's just they're not getting out of the batter's box within
Yeah.
your own organization?
Well, there's multiple variables here. So
Mm-hmm.
one is the influences we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
the expectations and feedback, the environments, systems, and resources, and the rewards, recognition, and consequences. Those are owned at the organizational level.
Right.
So what I mean by that is if I've got somebody that I hire that I have high hopes for, high aspirations, they got the track record, the pedigree, all that stuff, and they're floundering, as you say, the first thing I do is I look at myself and I look at my organizational systems.
Mm.
Are we setting this person up to win? What
Right.
are the barriers that are potentially getting in the way? Before I start looking at them and go, what's wrong with them? And I should manage them tighter, and I should make them turn in another report, and I should
Yeah.
well, hang on, maybe first let's leaders look at thyself, heal
Right.
thyself. What are we doing? Have we been clear? Are we giving reinforcing feedback? Are we letting the person know what we value in what he or she is doing and what we need to see them do differently? Do they have the right resources? For
Mm.
example, maybe we brought them in and it's a whole situation where they've got to develop a net new territory, but they've never needed to do that before. And we're just banking on the fact that they've got previous relationships that they'll be able to tap those and sell to them for our business. That may or may not be true. So do they have the right resources?
Right.
Are our organizational systems set up to help them? Do they have access to information that they need? Do they have access to subject matter expertise? Do they have the right technology systems to help them accelerate sales? Like all of these things matter. So that's the first thing I would do, Gene. The second thing I would do then is really try to understand when I look at, and I'm going to just assume this has happened, and it's
Sure.
probably not a great assumption, that when we hired the person, there was some kind of diagnostic that we used to really understand the person's behaviors, their motivations, and their competencies. Because if those things don't
I can
align,
assure you that did not happen, but keep going.
that's why I say most of the time it doesn't. Or we see leaders that use a diagnostic to hire and then they ignore the data because they're like, well, I knew this person or they've
Yeah.
got a resume, and it's like, oh my God, it's telling you what you're going to deal with this person. Why are you ignoring this data? So I would go back to what data do we have about the person? And do we have alignment? Do they really have the requisite skills? And
Mm.
is there then some training that might be needed? Like, might we need to teach that person how to build a territory strategy, or how to really think about marketing in a new territory if they've never done that before? You got to understand it's both. It's the
Right.
organizational responsibility, but then also the individual.